Okay, today I am making acorn squash, and I already cut it in half, just to make it a little easier filming. It's really hard to cut and film at the same time. So I cut it in half. Originally you're going to have an acorn squash, you're going to have both halves together, and you're just going to cut it straight down the middle this way. And then, you flip it over so that the open side is out. I already put some butter in this one. This one does not have butter out. So you're going to scoop out the insides like that with a spoon. You can save the seeds and roast them in the oven as well. You just put a little bit of olive oil and some, salt, or sometimes if you put cinnamon sugar on it, it's really good. They're really good, but I'm not going to make them today because it's too much effort and I'm hungry. So we have our acorn squash. We scooped it out. Don't mind the holes inside of it. I poked holes in it so that the butter would absorb into it. And there is another way to make this. So the other way to make this is you do the same thing. You cut it in half. You scoop the insides out. You can poke holes in it. And then instead of butter, if you're trying to cut down on like the type of fat you use, you can use olive oil or avocado oil or any kind of oil like that. I'm sure like any type of cooking oil will work. But for the most part, you get your oil or your butter or whatever, put it inside. You can never have too much butter, honestly, in my opinion. But I like butter. Who doesn't? Anyway, so you get your butter inside. And then you're going to kind of just like let it sit where it's at, and it will get absorbed when it's cooking. And then after you smear the butter inside, you're going to get your brown sugar. This is my little thing of brown sugar. We got a whole bag of it like up in the pantry. But you get your brown sugar. I like to put, I don't know, it just depends. You just put like a little bit in at a time. Give me 1 second. I need to figure out how to do this. Grab a spoon. You're gonna scoop out 2 spoonfuls of brown sugar. Doesn't matter if it's light or dark. I don't even know if they sell dark brown sugar in America. I live in America and my husband just said they do. So he said it's not the same. He lived in Australia for 2 years, so nothing is the same here anymore. But that's okay. So you're going to put it in your... honestly, this one, the hole is small enough that it fills with one. You just put like a spoonful in there. Just do it to taste how much you like. If you think 2 spoonfuls is too much, go for less. That is up to you. My hands are clean. Come on. Okay, there we go. This is really hard to do one-handed. I know it sounds silly, but like, you don't really think about how much you hold containers. Like, I'm having to like push the container up against my body right now. That was like 3. I like a lot of sugar. I am a sugary person. My dad says it's what keeps me sweet. I agree. So now that you have it, you are going to get a pan. I have my little pan over here. It's not great, but it works. It's a little cake pan. You can really put it in anything that is oven safe. I'm just going to stick this in here. Put some water in it. Not a lot, just a little. Like, just enough to fill the bottom is usually enough. Like, about that much. See how it just, like, barely covers the bottom. And then you're going to take your water. You are going to come back over here. We're going to put it on the stove because that is the easiest place for me to access the oven right now. Probably should have put a little more water in there, but maybe not. Then you're going to put your little half of your acorn squash in there. And honestly, this is usually all I do. This is a full meal for me. I don't eat a lot. I mean, like, I do. I'm a snacker. So I eat a lot of snacks throughout the day. So by the time it comes time for dinner, I can usually eat like a half an acorn squash and be full. And sometimes I don't even get all the way through it, depending on how big it is. So this is always a good idea. You're going to set your oven. Go for bake. You're going to do... let's leave it at 350. I'm not really sure the honest baking point for this. I used to make it in the microwave. This is the first time I've ever made it in the oven. So hopefully this works. I looked up a time amount on Pinterest. You can find other recipes for this on Pinterest if you're interested. So feel free to look around, but this is the way I do it. Yeah, so we're going to just try, and we're going to go to timer. And you're going to set the timer for, it's being a poop. We're going to set the timer for 50 minutes. Because that is what the internet told me was correct, so hopefully it is. Oh my gosh. It takes forever. Ooh, too long. Okay, timer is set for 50 minutes, and then you're just gonna put your stuff in the oven and let it go and let it do its thing. I'll show you the end result. Okay, so this is the acorn squash after it has come out of the oven. I do think if I had put plastic wrap over the top, it would probably have helped it not to get so like dried out. I tried putting butter on it, but I don't know. Usually when I make it in the microwave, I put plastic wrap over the top and poke a hole in it. Sometimes 2 holes or 3, just so that the air can escape. But this will help keep everything moist and keep it from drying out like it did. Either way, you can still put the butter around it and stuff, and it's still good for you. Yeah, enjoy.